What's up, guys? It's April 7th. Didn't do a recap yesterday because I had a little mini crash out. It's definitely the worst trading day that I've had on live stream so far. And it's not that I'm hiding losses or anything like that. I want to break those down too. It's just those losses in particular were B setups or worse, to where I honestly don't think it would be particularly beneficial for me to even break it down for you. I think the main point of the trade recaps is obviously to provide educational value and breakdowns as to how I'm seeing things, and what happened yesterday just didn't subscribe to any of that. However, different case today. Today we had a really awesome trade that ended up getting break even, where we were selling it open, a big dump off at open. There was a Judas swing or a Patty swing that you could have taken that Ronan actually took and held this entire way for an absolute monster trade. Me personally, not super comfortable with the trades that are that close to open. It was literally the first 30-second uh, at of the day, like within the first minute of market open, and I had a loss earlier in the year. I remember where basically that exact same thing happened, and it ended up being a manipulation where I got stopped out. So it's just something I have to back test more if I'm going to be comfortable with those. But for this trade, honestly, a mega A plus trade. Super disappointing and difficult to swallow break even, because realistically it could have ended up putting our accounts in a pretty nice spot. Whereas now we're pretty much destined to be heading back to eval jail, which it is what it is. It's been a good experience these last few days to go on a little bit of a losing streak, get humbled again, and then remember to refocus and lock in on the markets. Either way, though, we're displacing through this low, which was an initial draw, right? Was this low, this internal low that's in this hourly. I think that's what a lot of people were initially targeting. But in the moment, I'm thinking if we continue to displace lower, this 4 hour internal low, which is also a previous day low, I think even a previous week low, someone was mentioning. We'll check and confirm real quick. Not a previous week low. It is a previous day low, though. And it was the super obvious draw once we started displacing through that low and that hourly internal low. So, therefore, what makes a ton of sense is for us to start looking for a continuation play to it. However, initially, we just continued to dump through it. It looked like we might end up just being shit out of luck and that it was going to end up hitting that low without giving us an entry opportunity. However, NQ so generously pulled back for us while generating a low right above the low that we wanted to target, which is just beautiful. The exact thing that you want to see, especially if we get a pullback all the way to equilibrium. That's just like a mega plus into a 15-minute and ultimately into a 30-minute. I actually took an initial entry, which was an avoidable loss, but I didn't mind taking it because of how much conviction I had in the draw. And I knew that if it did end up turning into a loss, that I would get a re-entry for taking this exact idea the way that we did. And so the initial trade, I think, was this 1 minute close. This 1 minute close. The 30-minute did open up at our stop, which was sus. But at the same time, me personally, when we're delivering from a PD array already, such as the 15-minute, if I have a lot of conviction in the draw, I don't mind waiting or taking that first entry and then just jumping in on a re-entry. In hindsight, though, you could say that we had been still actively in a 3 minute. That, in a sense, made it more of an invalid entry. But regardless, I had a ton of conviction in the idea that if we did get the resweep of the stop hunt into the 30-minute, that it was going to end up being just a super free and easy trade. Really one of the easiest that you could possibly ever imagine, especially with an open, untapped 5 minute for a break even, and now with more lows generated right above the 5 minute. So literally as A plus as you could possibly imagine. Ended up getting a 1 minute inverse to the downside. It did have a bit of a rejection wick, which could have in the past be, or could just overall be something that makes it, excuse me, so you're more hesitant to enter. But in this instance, I just think everything was aligning. It was such a perfect idea, to where I was totally cool with taking the risk of entering on this 1 minute inverse. And so ended up going like slightly in the drawdown, barely, and then running straight to that 5 minute as we anticipated. Super free trade. Unfortunately, we get this insane wick. No idea if this was like a Trump tweet or if something crazy happened or if maybe NQ is just out to get us lately, but get this insane wick to stop us out at break even, turns around, and then runs to full TP, which was that previous day low. So super A plus trade. Super unfortunate occurrence the way that things have been going for the past couple of days for how I've traded. But today I actually think was a good return to form. I'm happy with how I traded, and I think it's just a matter of now relocking in, getting back to the spot where we're in our comfort zone and have our conviction, and getting back to on the run that we were just on in March, and then everything will come together, and before you know it, we'll be back to cooking. So yeah, that's the recap for today. April 7th. Subscribe, like for more, or subscribe, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Bye.